Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this special coverage in your program Spotlight about the Solidarity Day with the Syrian children that was ordered by the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah ibn Abdulaziz. Obviously, this is not the first and won't be the last for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, led by the custodian of the two holy mosques, to reach out for the needy people, for the suffering people, and especially for the Syrian brothers and sisters, and in particular for the children who are suffering the most. This comes in light of the recent deterioration of the Syrian situation and the refugee situation in various countries. Before we go into speaking to our guests here in the studio about this important Solidarity Day and campaign to raise donation and fundraising for the children of Syria and their Solidarity Day led by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We will watch this report from Jordan about the Syrian refugees there. Stay with us, we will be back.
Since the beginning of the Syrian crisis, children have been the forgotten victims of Syria's horrific war. Today, over 5 million children are in need of assistance, including over 1 million children who have sought refuge in neighboring countries. These children are at risk of becoming a lost generation and cannot be ignored. According to the UNHCR registration numbers, more than 570,000 Syrians are currently refugees in Jordan. They first came when the Syrian crisis began in 2011, streaming and then flooding into Zaatari, which hosts more than 100,000 refugees, making it the fourth large city in Jordan.
This is not any crisis. This is a crisis that requires special measures, special funds, special mechanisms of support. And my appeal is for governments and parliaments around the world to establish them. If that doesn't happen, with the normal humanitarian aid budgets, we will not be able to deliver when one looks at the staggering increase of the humanitarian impact of the crisis.
Hundreds of thousands of Syrian children already traumatized by war are facing a life of catastrophe in exile, without education or normal childhood. Child labor is a huge problem across refugee communities, with children as young as 7 taking on the role of breadwinner for their fractured families.
The Jordanian government and people have been doing a fantastic job so far in accommodating about 130,000 Syrians who have come across. But with the increasing problems in Syria, we have to be prepared for many more to be crossing. And as a consequence, agencies such as UNHCR, UNICEF, WFP, and national agencies such as the Jordanian Hashemite Charity Organisation, we're making sure that there's enough food, water, medical supplies being provided to those Syrians who are crossing.
Syrian children in camps are one of the most vulnerable. They need special care like any children, special nutrition and education. Therefore, here in the Kingdom of Jordan, over 80,000 Syrian children living among host communities and some 16,000 living in camps have been immunized against polio in June 2014. And the last polio case was discovered here in Jordan in 1992.
Main challenges that face both Jordan and the UNHCR is definitely the financial commitment and the humanitarian role of the international community. We are basically been looking forward to a more strategic support from these donor community to enable us to move forward with the humanitarian assistance on the ground.
Although a lot of NGOs are trying their best to provide the refugees with food, medicine and shelter, it is still hard for families to provide their children with enough blankets, food and medicine. Children may have no means to defend themselves but crying and shouting. And all the times, children have been the victims of wars. War does not recognize female from males, or even adults from children. And according to one of the United Nations report, it is estimated that over 10,000 children had been killed in Syria, and that grave violations against them had been committed by all parties to the conflict since it started in March 2011. This is Hala Hindawi for KSA2 Amman, Jordan.
Welcome back. You have been watching your program, the Spotlight, and this program designated to the Solidarity Day with the Syrian children that was ordered by the custodian of the Holy Mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz. At King Fahd Cultural Center, the focus of this campaign, there are many activities there. We'll bring you live coverage from there, as well as we will hear from our correspondent there later on, Mr. Zain Al-Abidin. We are going to watch some footages from King Fahd Center now. Now His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed ibn Naif ibn Abdulaziz, the Minister of Interior, has arrived in the King Fahd Cultural Center, where the campaign is taking place, and he's touring the place. And we are seeing also another different shot from, I believe, the museum, or I'm sorry, I believe from the auditorium. So we do have we'll bring you some live coverage from there. This is obviously an important day for us here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to support our brothers and sisters. And we are seeing, I believe, an exhibition there. His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Naif is taking a tour where he is speaking to the exhibitors, and they are explaining to him what has been exhibited there in terms of some paints, in terms of some activities there to explain the suffering and the hardship and the calamity that the Syrian children are experiencing and the Syrian population as a whole are experiencing. Now we are joined by His Excellency Dr. Abdulrahman Al-عناد. He is member of the National Society of Human Rights, as well as a consultant, a research manager at a SPAR Center. On your behalf, we are very pleased to welcome His Excellency Dr. Abdulrahman Al-عناد to our program. Dr. Abdulrahman, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Dr. Abdulrahman, the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, ever since the Syrian crisis erupted, have been involved heavily in what we would describe the charitable activities and humanitarian aid. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have been sending many trucks and many shipments to the borders, whether with especially in Jordan and as well as Turkey. In your opinion, how important for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to help people who are in dire need?
First, let me thank you for having me with you this special evening. I'd like at the beginning to express my thanks, gratitude and appreciation to custodian of the two Holy Mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz, and His Highness Prince Salman bin Abdulaziz. Also His Highness Prince Mohammed bin Naif, who is in charge of this campaign. This is not strange, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia used to be the first help in all situations and crises that happen all around the world, whether they are in Muslim countries, Arab countries, or in any other countries. When people face a problem or a crisis, the kingdom tries to be one of the first nations to help these people. This is from an Islamic motive and from a humanitarian motive. And that's why the kingdom is called the Kingdom of Humanity, for caring and paying attention to help people who are in need. The Syrian people and the Syrian children are our brothers and they are our sons, and they deserve more than...
Dr. Abdulrahman, I don't mean to interrupt you, we will continue, okay. But we're going to watch this report about the campaign. Stay with us, you have been watching your program Spotlight, and the topic is the Day of Solidarity with the Syrian Children.
Saudi Arabia is holding tonight a day of solidarity for the thousands of Syrian children affected by the war in their country. The custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz, has instructed that a day of solidarity with the children of Syria be organized at the national level in order to cover the needs of thousands of Syrian children. The Saudi press agency said, "The Syrian conflict, now almost in its third year, has hit all strata of Syrian society, including vulnerable groups such as the elderly and children. The objective of the Solidarity Day is to help cover the needs of the thousands of Syrian children living in tragic and difficult circumstances and help international efforts in improving their living conditions. The Syrian war has led to one of the world's most severe refugee crises, with millions of Syrians either internally displaced or hosted in neighboring states such as Turkey, Lebanon, and Jordan." Prince Mohammed bin Nayef bin Abdulaziz, the General Supervisor of the Saudi National Campaign to support brothers in Syria, has ordered that preparations for the Day of Solidarity be completed by tonight, February the 25th. King Fahd Cultural Center in Riyadh is hosting the event starting 7 p.m. with participation at both the official and popular levels.
Welcome back. You have been watching your program Spotlight, and we are covering the Solidarity Day with the Syrian children. I'm joined by Dr. Abdulrahman Al-عناد, member of the National Society for Human Rights in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, Dr. Abdulrahman, we were talking before the report about the role of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in the humanitarian field. Obviously, Saudi Arabia is involved heavily with the United Nations, with regional and international organizations in offering aid to the needy people, whether in the case of a catastrophe, natural disasters, calamities. In addition to this, also the
conflict,
when wars erupt, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is there to help the victims of war, such as civilians.
Yeah. So this is a very special, great, and appreciated step taken by the kingdom to not only to help those children who are victims, whether they are in the side of the regime or the side of the revolution, they are victims, and children have nothing to do with conflicts among other people. Many of those children has lost their families, their fathers, their mothers. Some lost the whole members of their families, so they are in a great need for food and the clothes and everything. So it's very important. It's very difficult for people, for adult people, to explain to those children why don't they live a normal life, or why they don't have
if you allow me, Dr. Abdulrahman, sorry, I keep interrupting you, but no, actually we are watching His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Nayef bin Abdulaziz, the Minister of Interior, making his way to the stage, and the inaugural ceremony of the Solidarity Day will start very soon. Obviously, we'll bring you some of the activities and the segments. His Eminence, also the General Mufti of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Sheikh Abdulaziz bin Abdullah Al Sheikh, exchanging cordial talks with His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Naif ibn Abdulaziz, the Minister of Interior. We are expecting the inaugural ceremony to start very soon, where obviously His Eminence, the General Mufti, will give his speech encouraging citizens and residents to contribute to such noble and charitable cause, helping the children of Syria, who have been the most victimized category of the Syrian society. Obviously, His Royal Highness Prince Khalid bin Bandar bin Abdulaziz, the governor of Riyadh region, is joining the ceremony, and His Royal it is inaugurated by the Minister of Interior, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Naif ibn Abdulaziz. This, Dr. Abdulrahman, this official presence and sort of patronage, in addition to His Highness or to His Eminence, the General Mufti, this obviously give a significant to this event.
Yes, it reflects our great attention, because we not only need to fundraise and get donations for the children from people, but we need the participation of the public, and we need, and I think one of the goals of this campaign is to draw the attention of the world, not only from within the kingdom, to this crisis. Especially, it comes just about 2 or 3 days after the Security Council decision to create safe paths for humanitarian aid to reach the needy people within the borders of Syria. As I understand, this campaign is for those who are in refugees camps in neighboring countries. But I hope also that contributions will continue to, and we will be able to reach those who are like hostages within the borders of Syria, and nobody can reach them and help them, and the regime keep them as hostages without doing anything, and depriving others from helping them. So there is a political and religious significance of this occasion. The coverage of it, the media coverage of it also, it gives some signs to the international communities. As I know that all ambassadors in the kingdom are attending this ceremony tonight. They are invited, and of course they will transmit their opinions about what's happening to their governments. So it's not only the fundraising, but drawing the attention of the world to the Syrian crisis. This campaign and similar events not only give needy people the help they need, whether they are food or clothes or housing or education. It also gives them a psychological treatment after 3 years of sufferings in this problem. And we hope that the neighboring countries which host the Syrian refugees give the enough facilities to reach those camps and refugees camps.
Interesting. Again, we're watching some footages from King Fahd Cultural Center, where the ceremony of the Solidarity Day with the Syrian children is taking place, and His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Nayef, the Minister of Interior, along with His Royal Highness Prince Khalid bin Bandar, the Governor of Riyadh, in addition to the General Mufti of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Eminence Sheikh Abdulaziz bin Abdullah Al Sheikh, are joining to support such charitable cause ordered by the custodian of the Holy Mosques, King Abdullah ibn Abdulaziz. We are actually, as Dr. Abdalrahman Al-عناد said, many dignitaries have been invited to the event, along with the ambassadors accredited to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are attending this important event. Dr. Abdalrahman, I wanted to ask you about the fact that with the tough situation that the children, our Syrian children, have whether inside Syria or within the refugee camps, whether in Jordan or in Turkey. To what extent do you think such a campaign, God willing, could help important category of the refugees in Syria, or the Syrian refugees?
I think, I know those refugees who are outside Syria, at least many international aid agencies were able to reach them, okay? And many other countries helped. But still, this is not enough, especially because of the long period of time and the harsh weather they suffered from. It was very, very cold, and they even need houses which the kingdom gave them, donate 1,000 accommodations for them.
Tents also as well.
So they are in a better situation than those who are hostages within the boundaries of Syria. But they still they suffer, and they need the attention. They need also psychological treatment later on. I think those refugees, whether adults or children, from the suffering, they will become a new human. They will have different view of other people within their region. And it's very important that they understand that we are with them and that we care about them and they are not alone. This is the message that we should convey. They should understand, because they should not sleep one night and saying we are left alone by our brother Arabs. Not only the international community. We don't blame foreign countries and international countries, but we blame ourselves first and our other Arab and Muslim brothers not helping them. And we should not let them spend one night when they are feeling a need. I am sure that there are children tonight who are sleeping without dinner. How can a father or a mother explain this to his son or his daughter, a young daughter? That's what we are trying to do. We are trying to help those people, those children, that they don't have to ask harsh questions, and they will not take a position against their brothers, Arab and Muslim brothers. So it's very significant and it's very important, and we pray God that the problem will not continue for longer time, more than 3 years for now. So the solution is not by continuing donating food and clothes to refugees, but to do whatever, and this is the responsibility not from us alone, because we are taking this into our responsibility, but this is the responsibility of the international community as a whole to solve this problem and to let people, those people, Syrian refugees, go back to their homes and live their normal life. So we look at it as a temporary situation. We are donating just to solve a temporary problem. But the main problem that we should concentrate on is solving the Syrian issue and returning all refugees to their countries.
Interesting. Now, dear viewers, we're still watching the live coverage of the King Fahd Cultural Center, where is a film about the Syrian children is being shown to the spectators and to the audience who have been attending the the Solidarity Day with the Syrian children ordered by the custodian of the Holy Mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz. We will be actually joining our correspondent there, Zain Al-Abidin Kan'u, to maybe bring us some of the activities there. In addition to this, we will have also our correspondents in Syria and actually in Jordan and in Lebanon. Until they get ready, we will watch this report. We will be back. Stay with us. You have been watching your program Spotlight about the Syria Solidarity Day with the Syrian children.
The Syrian crisis has entered its third year with up to 2 million refugees. More than half of them are children. And according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, more than 140,000 people, over 7,000 of them children, have been killed in Syria.
What happened with us didn't happen to others. Slaughter took place. They slaughtered men in front of us. They took and beat up my 5-year-old son. Look at my daughter's face. From the sharp nail, my husband was shot. We had to hit him. Even men started heading by digging in the ground.
People are forced to walk for days carrying nothing but their own clothes, and sometimes few blankets and food that could last for a short period. In the same context, the Jordanian territories witnessed up to 300,000 Syrian refugees only during 2013, with a total number 600,000. 20% of them are inside the camps.
Via Free Syrian Army and activists, they opened the roads and secure it. Activists recognized the proper roads to enter away from the checkpoints.
The international community and the United Nations General Secretary, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, have visited the Kingdom of Jordan several times to have a deep look at the Syrian refugee situation. Therefore, the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz, is looking at the Syrian children as the children of his own. The Saudi campaign for the relief of Syrian brothers have been launched since the crisis started in order to help people in need.
We would like to thank the custodian of the two holy mosques and the campaign coming from Saudi Arabia towards us, the people who are cold really, and we don't have blankets, and they did help us.
This campaign along the past years has distributed tons of blankets, food, dates, juice, non-food items, hygienic kits, and even caravans across Jordan. And during 2012, 62 trucks carried meat to the Syrian refugees.
الآن احنا بصدد استقبال القافلة البرية.
We are about to receive the 6th convoy coming from Saudi Arabia by the directions of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz, and by the direct supervision by Minister of Interior Consultant Dr. Saeed Al-Arabi Al-Harithi. We received the convoy consisting of 62 trucks that includes aid, meat, food, items and shelter.
The Saudi campaign for the support of Syrian brothers has launched several events, sent several aid bridges, sent a lot of help. All this to send one message to the Syrian refugees. You're not alone. You have brothers everywhere. The Saudi national campaign to support the Syrian brothers has never stopped and shall never stop. The help will continue. The assistance will continue for the Syrians who had to leave behind them homes, families, and memories, looking for a safer world. This is Hala Hindawi for KSA2, Amman, Jordan.
Welcome back. You have been watching your program Spot Life, and the Solidarity Day with the Syrian children has started with an inaugural ceremony at King Fahd Cultural Center. His Royal Highness, as we reiterated before, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Nayef, the Minister of Interior, along with His Royal Highness Prince Khalid bin Bender, the Governor of Riyadh Province, in the presence of His Eminence Sheikh Abdulaziz bin Abdullah Al Sheikh, the General Mufti, inaugurating the ceremony, where some activities taking place, including exhibition. In addition to this, a short film about the suffering of the Syrian children. Now we are seeing actually an official, I believe, from the one of the regional or international organization, speaking before the spectators and explaining the suffering of the Syrian children to the spectators. Dr. Abdulrahman, obviously the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is active also with international organization in alleviating the suffering of the humans worldwide, regardless of race, religion, or ethnicity. But obviously it's incumbent upon us to help our Syrian brothers who are actually next door, sharing the same values and same religion.
Yeah, we are leaders. The kingdom is a leader of the dialogue between nations and followers of religions. We try to help all countries of the world to be safe, so that we are doing a lot in the international arena to fight terrorism. We try to help all nations to be stable. We try to mediate between fractions or sections who are fighting in some countries, whether they are in Arab countries or in international other countries. The humanitarian aid, as we said, it's an obligation. We are bearing it, and motives of this obligation are Islamic, religious, and humanitarian. We try to be everywhere, in any place we are needed after crises and disasters happen in any part of the world, or in the east or the west.
Dr. Abdulrahman, I hate to interrupt you, but we have to go to our correspondent in Beirut, Maria, her name is Lona Khalil, our correspondent in Beirut, and she's talking to us from Qatar Maya camp in Al Kharroub region. Lona, assalamu alaikum, can you hear me?
Walaikum salam, yes I can.
Lona, can you, we just watched a report done by you about the situation of the Syrian refugees in Lebanon. Maybe can you bring us more updates about the situation of Syrian refugees, especially that, alhamdulillah, the winter is basically still there, but it's not in its peak or in its, let's say, in its ferocity.
Sorry, excuse me?
I was talking about, can you maybe explain to us the situation for the Syrian refugees in Lebanon?
Yes, we are here in Qatar refugee camp in the mount of Lebanon. Here the Syrian refugees are in huge numbers. There are 100 Syrian children. You see, the camps are not able to protect these children and also the Syrian refugees from the cold and also from the rain. The Syrian refugees here are facing lots of problems, including the nutritional, on the nutritional level, the educational level, and also the medical levels.
Now I see children in the background behind you, actually, some
Yes.
Syrian children from the camps. Did you get a chance maybe to talk to them and to maybe ask them about what they have been going through?
Yeah, well, I don't know if someone talks English.
No, I know
You
they
were
don't.
talking about the lake and educational level.
No, I know. I'm saying, did you have a chance to speak to them, to chat with them
Yes,
about
of course.
it? Yeah,
Yes, of course, I had the chance.
And can you maybe explain to us what they have said to you?
You want me to tell you about the suffering?
Yes, what they have told you in terms of suffering and what they have been going through.
Yes. In this camp, there are a big number of Syrian children who are sick, and their relatives can't bring them the medical because of the financial situation. Some of these children are feeling sad because they are not attending schools. They had dreams, and they think that they lost a lot by living here in a refugee camp in Lebanon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, Lona, go ahead. Lona, obviously we are here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The topic of this program is the Solidarity Day with the Syrian children that has been ordered by the custodian of the Holy Mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz. And Lona, how such campaign by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, to what extent do you think it could help the children of Syria, in addition to the previous aid that has been offered by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia?
Yes, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, a huge history in helping the Syrian refugee here in Lebanon. The Islamic Relief Organization, as also the National Campaign of Saudi Arabia, had worked lots to the Syrian refugees. They presented to them medical assistance as also nutritional assistance in the past, in addition to heaters, and also educational assistance to an amount of to a number of Syrian students. These Syrian children beside me are participated in the festival that was held in Sidon City in the south of Lebanon. After coming after this festival, they felt so happy. So you can feel the difference. The difference of their personality before and after attending this festival.
Obviously, they need it the most since they have been dislocated from their homes, from their playgrounds, schools. So it must have been extremely tough for them to make this difficult change to them, and also for their, let alone their families who have been going through hardship. At least children innocent, and they may not know what's going on around them, but still they feel they suffer. But Lona, let me ask you: did you get a chance to maybe go inside the camp and talk to the family of the children and the families of children in the camp, and to maybe hear from them the hardship that they are going through to sustain some, let's say, food and accommodation for their children, and even clothes for this matter, since you mentioned the cold weather in Lebanon, in the camp?
Yes. Well, actually, we are in the camp. We are surrounded by the refugees. They are really feeling cold. As I told you, the camps are not able to protect these refugees from the cold and from the rain, as rain falls on the children's heads while sleeping, as also the ground is all muddy, and it's not healthy for them.
Now, they are living in tents, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay, and the tents are not strong enough to protect them from the rain and the
Right.
climate conditions.
Right. As also the relatives of the Syrian refugees' children doesn't have the abilities to pay in order to buy medical assistance to their children.
How about school, Lona? Are they being taught in the camp?
Sorry?
How about schooling, education? Are they being taught in the camp? Are they being...
As I told you before.
Yeah, go ahead.
As I told you before, and as I mentioned in my report, students here are not attending schools. They are pretending like going to school by playing games.
No, I mean, are they being taught by their parents at least as alternative solution to maybe teach them writing, reading, basic things?
Yes. Well, Saudi National Campaign, as also the Islamic Relief Organization, is working on a project of giving education to the biggest number of Syrian refugees children in the country, and this project already begun, and and the campaign is working on it.
How many refugees we have in Lebanon from Syria?
Yes, we know in Lebanon we don't have formal camps. Syrian refugees are living in informal camps, what makes limiting their number an impossible mission. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, the number of the Syrian refugees is about 1 million refugees in Lebanon. As Lebanese authorities confirms that the number of the Syrian refugees, that there's a big number of Syrian refugees who are not registered, and the real number of the Syrian refugees is about 2 million Syrian refugees. And in the both sources, the number of the Syrian refugee children is the half of the general number.
Okay. Lona Khalil joining us from Katremaya camp in Al Kharroub region in southern Lebanon. Thank you very much for joining us, Lona. We may go or come back to you later. Thank you, Lona. Dr. Abdulrahman, you heard what Lona, our correspondent in Lebanon, said.
Yeah.
Your comment.
My comment on this, it's a shame on the international community that they are seeing and witnessing the suffering of these refugees, and they are not giving them enough help. Now, for people who are inside Syria, and a lot of talk in the political arenas is being practiced, and there are efforts to issue the Security Council decision to create safe paths to reach the needy people within the borders. Now, refugees in Lebanon, in Turkey, and Jordan, it's very easy and very simple to reach them and give them the aid. We do not, and the international community does not have any excuse not to reach those people, because those people, they are in need and you can reach them. So I think the situation reflects the carelessness of the international community about those people, and that's why we say again, the campaign by the Kingdom and this Solidarity Day is very important, at least to draw the attention of the international community to those people. Now, we are not talking about people who are inside Syria and whom we can't reach and give them aid. We are talking about people in camps, and they are in need for medicine, for schools, for clothes, for food, and for everything. Where the international community not helping them? I am very surprised, and I feel humble, and as I said, it's a shame on the whole international community.
Now, just His Excellency Dr. Abdullah Al-Rabi'a, the Minister of Health, delivered a speech in the ceremony of the Solidarity Day with the Syrian children. The activities or the segments of the activities of the ceremony of the Solidarity Day with the Syrian children is taking place at King Fahad Cultural Center, where we're going to bring you some glimpse of the event there, graced by His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Naif bin Abdulaziz, the Minister of Interior. Dr. Abdulrahman, the speech that was just delivered before by Dr. Abdullah Rabi'a, obviously health extremely important to help the children.
But what Lona said that they are in need for medicine. My information said that we have a field hospital in all camps.
Not, I believe in Lebanon.
No?
We'll have to double check, because she actually pointed out that most of the camps are informal camps, and it's hard even to account for the numbers of refugees.
Yeah, this is another responsibility for the kingdom. I think the Ministry of Health also should pay attention to treat the wounded people from the conflict there. I think we should have some of them at least in hospitals in the kingdom to treat them. This is very important for the kingdom, also to show our care and that we care about.
Now, Dr. Saad Al-Arabi Al-Harithi, I believe, is giving a speech from an advisor to the Minister of Interior.
Dr. Saad is in charge of the Saudi
humanitarian,
the Saudi Committee for Humanitarian
Activities,
international activities, and he is always in charge of these campaigns, whether they are after natural disasters, earthquakes, and rains and floods and things,
or even
conflicts
foreign war
wars.
Countries,
yes,
such as what is taking place in Syria.
Yes.
Interesting. We are going to be joined by our correspondent in Amman, in the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Khalid.
Alaikum assalam. Now, we would like to hear from you about, obviously, Jordan is taking the biggest burden of Syrian refugees for obvious reason, having the border with Syria. Can you maybe explain to us as of the Syrian refugees situation in the Kingdom of Jordan?
Well, exactly as you mentioned, we have the longest borders with Syria, and I'm not sure if you can see behind me is the Atari refugee camp for the Syrian refugees. It's really dark. We're talking about less than 13 Celsius. This is the temperature here. According to the refugees here in the Atari camp, we're talking about that there is more than 100,000 Syrian refugees inside the camp. And according to the total number for the Syrian refugees across the Kingdom of Jordan, we're talking about 500,000 refugees, and the estimated numbers could reach up to 800,000 by the end of 2014. Until the 13th of June 2014, up to 800 refugees really entered the Jordanian territories. Since the crisis happened inside Syria, they really entered the Jordanian territories either by the legal way or the non-legal way through the borders with Jordan. According to the UNHCR numbers, we're talking about that there is up to 58% of the refugees, they are children from day 1 until 17 years old. Something else, the Atari refugee camp is up to be, or is going to be divided to 15 villages in order to give the proper, services for the Syrian refugees. Back to you, Khalid.
Now, Hala, let me ask you about the situation there. Obviously, having this big number of refugees in a country that is actually trying to accommodate a huge number of people, 800,000, a big number, definitely. With some countries and organizations not fulfilling their commitment to aid the Syrian refugees. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, along with some countries, are stepping in to help with the big aid. The solidarity with the Syrian children ordered by the custodian of the Holy Mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz, obviously, and we hope, we pray to Allah that it will make a difference for the Syrian children. From what you have gathered and what you have seen firsthand, to what extent do you think such Solidarity Day could help the Syrian children, whether in Jordan or in other countries?
Well, as you said, it's really worth mentioning that the Saudi national campaign has really helped a lot since the Syrian crisis has really started. It is, of course, I just want to add that Zaatari refugee camp first received 5,000 refugees. Later on, Saudi Arabia has really committed to help and to give assistance to the Syrian refugees because they are the brothers and the sisters of Saudi people. A lot of aid bridges has been sent to refugees across the Kingdom of Jordan. Over 86 programs has really been launched. We're talking about even to 62 trucks really been sent during 2012. We're talking about food and food item, kits, caravans. It's, I would like really to add that, as I said, refugee camp is behind me, or the Zaatari refugee camp is behind me. Now there is a launch, or there's like an event in order to change or to replace the tents with caravans as an aid or as a grant from Saudi Arabia. So as you can see, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is giving a big and a huge assistance for the Syrian refugees in collaboration, of course, with the Jordanian government that's really easing this kind of campaigns. Back to you, Khalid.
As Dr. Abdulrahman Al-عناد, our guest here in the studio, also mentioned or pointed out to the field hospitals in Jordan to treat the Syrian refugees, whether children or injured, for this matter, injured civilians in Syria. Do you have have you been to one of those field hospitals?
Mm-hmm. Through the KSA2 coverage inside the Zaatari camp, we got the chance to visit a lot of hospitals. I would like to mention that on top of these hospitals or feed hospitals is the Saudi hospital. This hospital is really receiving a huge number of women, children and men inside the camp on daily basis. And the refugees has really mentioned a lot that the doctors is really dealing with them in a very good way. A lot of women really checking up themselves and, you know, the children on daily basis. Pregnant women, we would like to mention there's high number of pregnant women inside, you know, Zaatari camp. And of course, it's really very important to highlight that children during winter could really suffer a lot of diseases like cold and like flu. So the first point for them, or the first direction, is to go to Saudi field hospital inside Zaatari camp.
Hala, let me ask you about, I mean, from speaking to the refugees, whether children, women or men, what are the most difficult problems that are facing, beside, of course, the cold and harsh weather sometimes?
Well, as they said many times during the KSA2 coverage, they want peace. That's all what they really want. Plus, they're really looking for a place they call home, and they wish to replace the tents, or they remain tents, with caravans. They just want to feel the sense of home, the same feeling they used to feel back in Syria. Plus, they're really talking about the medical difficulties. Sometimes it's really hard to reach to the hospitals, although there is several hospitals inside Zaatari refugee camp. But as you can, of course, you cannot see behind me because it's really dark, but Zaatari refugee camp is a very huge, very vast camp, and sometimes when you're located at the end of the camp, in order to reach the hospital, sometimes it could be really difficult. Plus, getting food nowadays, it's really becoming a little bit easier since they opened the very big supermarkets inside Zaatari refugee camp. Back to you, Khalid.
But how refugees can buy the, let's say, their groceries from this market? Are they receiving helps, aid from, of course, from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and other international organizations?
As you mentioned, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in collaboration with a lot of NGOs, on top of these NGOs is the WFP, UNHCR, and the Jordanian government. These these supermarkets or big malls, if we can really mention it, inside the Atri refugee camp, each refugee has to bring something called the ration card or the registration card. When showing it to the employee inside these supermarkets or big malls, they could really receive food. These supermarkets sometimes can give them the ability to buy with money, since they really have something called work for cash, or these kind of initiatives really give the refugee the chance to get the money or the little amount of money to go to these supermarkets to buy food or to buy stuff. Sometimes based on the ration cards, the only thing they have to do, show the ration card, the employee will see it, and they will let them in order to take whatever they want according to these ration cards. Okay.
Hala, stay warm. I can see from your clothes that the weather is bitter cold there in Zaatari camp. Thank you very much, Hala, for joining us in the program, and stay safe as well. Thank you, Hala. Dear viewers, we will watch another report about the Syrian crisis and the children of Syria. Stay with us.
A typical day for a Syrian child in a refugee camp has nothing to do with childhood. For him, there is no place or time to grow peacefully and graciously. In such camps, you find children who turned into adults overnight, and adults who marvel at their crumbling lives with so little in hand.
Being among my family and children changed me, and the Saudi supplies made it easier for us all.
For all that and more, and under the direct instructions of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia holds a day of solidarity with Syrian children dwelling in anguish to help raise funds and improve international humanitarian support for them. Children who have not yet seen enough of the world have seen indeed too much of the sorrows of war, experienced the loss of home and the life of nomads by force.
On our way, a young baby died from bad food and starvation.
The severity of the situation puts all the words to shame and leaves the conscience of the world numb and speechless. The fears of duplicating a second Palestine have gone monstrous, with the number of Syrian refugees breaking all known records to date, presenting to the world a tragedy with quite vague solutions that could never undo or erase the grotesque memories deeply embedded in the children's minds.
Came here while crouching all the way, and every man for himself, because we were scared. We moved and then we stopped, and if we didn't, they start shooting.
As the Saudi aid spreads consistently throughout many countries, the number of Syrian refugees is always on the rise, especially children and senior citizens. Saudi relief that has the worth of 538 million Saudi riyals have reached Jordan, Turkey, and Lebanon.
The campaign was launched nearly 2 years ago, based in Jordan, Turkey, and Lebanon. During this time, over 50 programs were implanted in various fields, like providing ambulance vehicles, nutrition, winter clothing, blankets, and special foods for children, and supplies for the holy months of Ramadan. Also in all medical fields, food and social support, we have many children-themed projects in the Day of the Solidarity, with collaborative work with many social services institutions and relief organizations, catering for the needs of Syrian children in particular.
Saudi aid has two main wells, specialized healthcare support with extensive expertise that covers all medical needs for children, which reveals the prioritized focus at the Saudi support.
The projects are based on 4 main criteria: nutrition, healthcare, education, and social welfare, and the special nutrition bundles for children, and the special pediatric medical attention. Also, the medical project includes providing vacancies for children and over 1,500 artificial lamps for Syrian children who lost their lamps in the war, in addition to portable orphans for children who lost their parents.
As the Saudi campaign spares no effort in the struggle of complete deliverance of aid, 10 convoys have successfully been utilized fully by 250,000 Syrian refugees, as well as setting up tens of clinics and hospitals for minor surgeries, burns, and bone fractures. Drugs that children would use heavily in young age, like antibiotics and painkillers.
It's been a year. I wish I could go back to Syria.
The 25th of February is marked and dedicated entirely for Syrian children to cater for every need they long for, ever since they lost their homes to a vile war that left too little to stay green.
Welcome back. You have been watching your program Spotlight, and the light has been spotted at the Solidarity Day with the Syrian Children campaign that has been ordered by the custodian of the Holy Mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz. His Eminence Sheikh Abdulaziz bin Abdullah Al Sheikh, the General Mufti of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, is giving a speech, and we cannot hear what he's saying, but we expect that he's speaking, Dr. Abdulrahman, about the point of view of Islam in the charitable cause.
I think he is asking people to participate, and donate money. And maybe you find it suitable to announce the number that people can donate through the message.
The account number and the SMS.
5565. I read it just in your...
Yeah, okay. Well, actually, it's in the news bar, but as you said, 5565.
Just a message with 1 for 10 riyals, and 2 with for 20 riyals, and 3 for 30 riyals.
30 riyals. And it's a unified number.
Unified for all...
for all communication carriers.
Yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's as easy as this. It is 5565, right?
So this is sadaqah, I mean...
charity,
yes. And I think the General Mufti is stressing this point, that it's a good thing for people to donate. And I think this is a very, very special and unique time that we should give help to those people. I am a little bit relieved that the situation in the Zaatari camp, I think, is better, much better than the situation in Lebanon camp. But I think the solution is not continuing to helping Syrian refugees to stay in the camps, but to help them go back to their homes. So most of the international efforts should go to completely solve the Syrian problem, not to make them as residents in these countries forever or for years. So without neglecting the immediate help for those refugees. But we should stress that the most important cause for us is solving their problem and changing the Syrian regime and bringing all Syrian people to their country to rebuild it again.
Definitely. Also, I would like to mention, it's worth mentioning also the unified number for the banking account for the campaign, donation campaign, the Solidarity Day with the Syrian children. It is at the National Commercial Bank. You can deposit or wire for this matter, especially with the e-banking. It has been much easier than ever before to send or to deposit your money through the National Commercial Bank account that is appearing in the news bar in your monitor. In addition to, as Dr. Abdulrahman said, the unified SMS 5565, and according to the number from 1, I believe, to 3, 1 is 10, 2 is 20, 3 is 30 riyals, and I think it's a good opportunity. And we are here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It's actually obligatory upon us. We are living, thanks Allah, in a prosperity, security, tranquility, peace, and we should actually feel the suffering of our brothers and sisters, the children of Syria, who happen to be, in fact, could be considered our children, to help them out through this a magnificent and golden opportunity to give them charity. Here is His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed ibn Naif ibn Abdulaziz, the Minister of Interior, is delivering a speech in the ceremony where I believe he is commending the order by the custodian of the Holy Mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz, for the Solidarity Day with the Syrian children. The role of the Minister of Interior, Dr. Abdulrahman, in actually reaching out to the needy people who in the worldwide, actually, for the Palestinians. The Ministry of Interior has been active in helping the Palestinians, the Bosnians, and for Syrians now.
The situation in the kingdom may sound strange, that humanitarian aid belongs to...
is run by the Ministry of Interior.
But I think that was because his late Prince Naif bin Abdulaziz, rahimahullah, was very humanitarian, and he cares about human issues. And that's one reason that the committee responsible for international aids and reliefs belongs to the Ministry of Interior. Now, His Highness Prince Mohammed bin Naif is in charge of these aids and this committee. Any problem, any crisis, whether natural disaster or human, the kingdom has its groups ready to give assistance. And there are many examples that the kingdom started air bridges to many places. Airlifting in many places in the world. Now, the Syrian situation and the children of Syria is very special for us, for other reasons. It's not just humanitarian.
For many reasons.
Yeah, yes. They are our brothers, and they are Arabs, they are Muslims, and they are in need. As you said, we are, thanks God, in a very good situation. We should not forget those people, because only the mere thinking of them that they are left alone during this crisis will affect their future treatment with us and with other Arab brothers. I think there are many other Arab agencies we should give credit to. They are helping, and some international and Muslim agencies and countries are also helping those refugees, whether in Jordan or Lebanon or in Turkey. And they should be also credited and announced. But the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, since the beginning of the Syrian crisis, felt that it's responsible to help the Syrian people get their democratic system in the country. So the kingdom helped the Syrian from the beginning in their revolution. And we should continue helping them until they reach their goal. I was one of the Arab observers who went to Syria in the beginning of the crisis, just 2 years ago.
Wow.
And I was with the first team who arrived there from the Arab League. I was lucky
to monitor the situation.
To monitor the situation. That was 2 years ago.
Little over 2 years, I believe.
Yes. And I was lucky that I was in Al-Kamishli in Al-Hasaka, which at that time it was a little bit stable. It has a Kurdish community.
Population.
Yeah, and they have another cause, a different cause for them. There are demonstrations.
Okay,
but
Dr.
even at that time,
I think very interesting. I want you to continue this, but we are actually just seeing live coverage from King Fahd Cultural Center, where the ceremony came to a conclusion, and His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Nayef and His Royal Highness Prince Khalid bin Bender, along with His Eminence the General Mufti, are leaving the auditorium at King Fahd Cultural Center, and obviously the activities of the campaign will continue throughout the night. And back to you, Dr. Abdulrahman. Very interesting. I'm learning.
Yeah, I was saying that 2 years ago the situation was very bad within the country. I mean, in terms of food, electricity,
actually.
The heating facility, oil.
It was very bad, but now it's
very
worse.
bad. That was 2 years ago, so it should be very, very tough now.
Extremely worse.
Yes, yeah. And we don't blame people who left the country, 6 million or over, who left the country because they want to live. Not only they escaped from fire and bombs, they escaped from hunger also, and that's why we have a strong obligation to help them.
Definitely, and as we said, it's a golden opportunity. You have the national, if especially, and I think Dr. Abdulrahman, it's extremely important for the parents to teach their children how to feel the suffering of the Syrian children, to appreciate what we are having now in terms of bounties, alhamdulillah, security, opportunities, harmony, prosperity. Those are actually
and they should teach them how to donate for other people. Yes,
definitely. And this is actually, I mean, both of us were educated maybe in US. We've seen how children is being taught to maybe knock doors, to sell cookies for different charitable causes. So I think it's a good opportunity for us here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, especially in this day, Solidarity Day, with the children.
This is not the first campaign. We had before a general, strong and huge campaign for the Syrian people. You remember?
True.
And at that time, hundreds of thousands of people went to centers. They donate
blankets,
food, blankets, clothes, everything, everything. And this shows the public participation. It's very important. And that's why I tried to say that at the beginning. I mean, the campaign, it's not for getting some money, because the kingdom, our budget and the Ministry of Finance have billions. And the kingdom can give Syrian people and Syrian refugees billions. So it's not money that we are looking for from such a campaign. The kingdom can provide the money without getting it from people. We are trying to convey a message to the world, to our brothers, to the international community, that there are people who are suffering and that there are people who need help and they have a problem and their problem should be solved, and soon. I think this is what's significant about such a campaign. And it's, I think, intelligent way to say it's a campaign for solidarity with Syrian children, because we are trying to reach the human side in the international community, that there are children who are suffering. So this is the message we should, and the media coverage of the campaign, the attendance of the international ambassadors in the kingdom to such a campaign, this is a very important event. From this part, the campaign may collect only 500 or 400 million riyals. No, this is not the main objective of this campaign. Yes, it's the attention to the situation and the crisis.
Definitely, obviously. And also, Dr. Abdulrahman, in addition to what you have said, that we should not basically, if the Syrian crisis were to continue, which we hope not, we pray to Allah Almighty to obviously bring this crisis to an end as soon as possible. But if the crisis were to continue, we should not let's say, we should not lose our enthusiasm to support the Syrian people and to designate some of our income to help such a cause. And as we said, you can. This is a good opportunity by the people, since we the government, and it's extremely important to mention this, Dr. Abdulrahman, not to listen to anybody who is trying to raise fund for the Syrian people without an official umbrella. It's extremely important.
This
I think that
yes, this is very dangerous. You don't open it for anybody to collect donations, because you didn't. You have to control where the money goes.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very important. So there were warnings at the beginning for such campaigns, and it's forbidden by law in the kingdom, by orders. It's forbidden for any person to collect donations for any cause without the official umbrella. As you said, the kingdom usually and always comes first in helping all people in all around the world in times of crisis, and the kingdom will continue to help our Syrian brothers. I'll tell you, even after solving the Syrian problem, we will also help Syrian people after they liberate their country and
in the reconstruction.
The reconstruction, I think,
rebuilding
the kingdom
Syria
will also stand by its obligation and responsibility to help them to fund a lot, because their infrastructure is destroyed now, and they will rebuild their country, and the kingdom will be as it used to be in one of the first nations in helping countries to build their countries.
Definitely. We are joined, Abdul Jabbar is our correspondent in King Fahd Cultural Center ready. Zain Al-Abidin. Zain Al-Abidin, can maybe, okay, when our correspondent in King Fahd Cultural Center ready, we will go there to hear from him about the ceremony and about the activities that just are taking place. Okay, Zain, can you maybe explain to us what's going on in King Fahd Cultural Center, including, of course, the ceremony that was just concluded?
Khalid, we are here actually in the exhibition, and His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Naif bin Abdulaziz, the Minister of Interior, toured the exhibition of solidarity with the Syrian children, and then he attended the ceremony, and it was launched in the presence of His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Naif bin Abdulaziz and the consultant of the Minister of Interior, Dr. Saad Arabi Al-Harthi, in addition to the General Mufti of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and also the Minister of Health. It has been stressed and much emphasis is being put upon the kingdom's efforts in helping the Syrian people since the beginning of the uprising in Syria that affected the category of the children, the vulnerable children in Syria, and they were affected by the atrocity of the war, the Syrian war. And actually a considerable number of the Syrian children were displaced internally and into the neighboring countries like Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, and Iraq. And the exhibition actually, it's being exposed when it comes to the history of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and helping the affected countries, when it comes to the uprising or a natural disaster. So it is a continuation of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia efforts to help the affected actually people of the wars, and today is a specialized, and they are tackling the Syrian children in particular, and also much emphasis being put upon one actually of the some of the contributions on the part of the companies here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, leading companies, and also some banks. SAB actually has given 1 million Saudi riyals, and a Rashid company 1 million Saudi riyals, in addition to a Tasniya company 1,200,000 Saudi riyals, and the Ministry of Finance also 12 actually some in-kind actually donations when it comes to the tents, the clothes, and other needs, and the basic needs when it comes to the Syrian children.
Okay. Zain, thank you very much actually for bringing us the latest from King Fahd Cultural Center. Dr. Abdulrahman, actually we are coming to the end of the program. The news is coming very soon. Something you want to say before we conclude in 1 minute?
I hope you will meet me in the future, in the near future, after liberating Syria, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you, Dr. Abdalrahman العناد, a member of the National Society for Human Rights and also a consultant and the research manager at Aspar Center. Thank you all very much for joining us. We pray to Allah Almighty to alleviate the suffering of the Syrian children, and hope we just remind you of the unified national number on the National Commercial Bank, also the SMS 5565 for all the communication carriers. Please be generous, donate to your brothers and sisters for the children of Syria. Thank you all very much. Accept best wishes of the producers of the program, Amal Al-Gadhi, Faisal Al-Khalaf, and the director of the program, Abdul Jabbar Al-Kibiri. To also our colleagues in Lona, Khalil in Beirut, and also our colleague in Jordan, Hala, in addition to our colleague Zain and Nadir Al-Jahani in King Fahd Cultural Center. Till we meet again, have a good and a pleasant and peaceful time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.